4,000 Weeks is a refreshingly honest and deeply philosophical take on time management, grounded in the reality that the average human lifespan is around 4,000 weeks. Instead of offering yet another productivity system to squeeze more into our limited days, Oliver Burkeman invites readers to rethink their entire relationship with time. He explores why our obsession with doing more often leaves us feeling less fulfilled, and how accepting our limitations can lead to a richer, more meaningful life. Through gentle reflection, practical insight, and a touch of humor, the book encourages us to let go of perfectionism, embrace what truly matters, and make peace with the fact that we'll never get to everything, and that's okay. About the author. Oliver Burkeman is a British journalist and author known for his thoughtful exploration of psychology, philosophy, and self-improvement. For years, he wrote a popular column in The Guardian titled, "This Column Will Change Your Life," where he examined the quirks of human behavior and the paradoxes of personal development. Unlike many voices in the productivity space, Burkeman brings a grounded, often contrarian perspective, one that challenges the cult of efficiency and instead promotes a more reflective, humane approach to time and life. His writing blends intellectual depth with gentle wit, making complex ideas both accessible and deeply resonant. Imagine waking up one morning and realizing something profound. The time you have in this life is not endless. In fact, it's surprisingly limited around 4,000 weeks, if you're lucky. This idea, both startling and strangely comforting, is at the heart of 4,000 Weeks by Oliver Burkeman. It's a story about how we live in a world obsessed with productivity and efficiency, yet rarely stop to ask what it means to truly use our time well. Our journey begins with the truth many avoid, that our lives are finite. Unlike the endless scroll of tasks, emails, and distractions that fill our days, the reality of our mortality is a gentle but firm teacher. Burkeman encourages not to fear this fact, but to embrace it as a doorway to a more meaningful existence. Most of us have been caught in the frantic rush to do more, piling up to-do lists, chasing perfection, trying to fit every moment with productivity hacks and schedules. Yet, despite all this effort, the feeling of time slipping away remains. It's as if the more we try to control time, the less we actually feel in control. The book invites us to stop running in circles and instead to rethink what time means and how we relate to it. Burkeman paints a picture of modern life where busyness is worn like a badge of honor. We glorify multitasking, celebrate hustle culture, and fill our calendars so tightly that even moments of rest are scheduled. But this endless striving often leads not to happiness, but exhaustion and anxiety. It's a paradox. We want more time, yet the way we live pushes it further out of reach. The story takes a turn when Burkeman asks us to consider the limits of time not as a curse, but as a gift. 4,000 weeks are not a problem to solve, but a reality to live within. Accepting our limitations opens a door to freedom, a freedom from the pressure to do everything, from the need to be perfect, and from the illusion that we can control all aspects of life. The author draws on stories from history, philosophy, and psychology to show how people have wrestled with the problem of time for centuries. From ancient thinkers who pondered the fleeting nature of existence to modern psychologists who study our compulsions and distractions, Burkeman weaves a rich tapestry of insight that reminds us The challenge is not to find more time, but to live fully in the time we have. One of the most powerful ideas shared is that trying to master time like it's a resource to be optimized is a trap. Instead, we must learn to live with uncertainty and imperfection. Life will always have tasks unfinished, moments wasted, and plans disrupted. And that's okay. The key is to shift our mindset from managing time to embracing time. In the quiet moments between busyness, the book asks us to listen closely to what really matters. Not what's urgent or loud, but what brings meaning and joy. Sometimes it's a conversation with a loved one. Sometimes it's simply being present with ourselves. These are the moments that don't always fit on a calendar, yet they shape the texture of our lives. Burkeman also explores the fear that often drives our frantic pace, the fear of missing out, the fear of being insignificant, and the fear that if we stop, we'll lose ground. But this fear can blind us to the richness of the present. The book gently invites us to lean into our finitude and find peace in the simple act of showing up for our lives as they are. As the first part of this journey closes, we begin to see that living well with limited time is not about squeezing in more tasks, but about choosing what to focus on with intention. It's about saying no to many things so we can say yes to the few that truly matter. And so we rest here for now with this newfound awareness settling softly like a lantern's glow in the dark. When you're ready, we'll continue this journey into deeper reflections on time, meaning, and what it means to live a life that matters. As we pick up the story again, the idea of embracing our limited time begins to unfold even further. Burkeman gently reminds us that the culture of relentless productivity doesn't just steal our time, it steals our attention, our presence, and even our joy. It's like chasing a shadow. The more we run after getting everything done, the more the true essence of living slips away. The book invites us to think differently about how we spend our days. Instead of treating time like a puzzle to be solved or a problem to be fixed, Burkeman suggests we see it as a landscape to be wandered with care and curiosity. This means accepting that some things will always be beyond our control and learning to be okay with that ... There's a deep wisdom in recognizing that we cannot do everything. This truth can feel both heavy and liberating. On one hand, it forces us to confront our limits. On the other, it clears the way to focus on what is truly meaningful. Burkeman encouraged the reader to stop trying to do it all and instead ask, what is worth my limited attention? What am I willing to commit to fully and wholeheartedly? Along the way, the story explores how modern technology has reshaped our experience of time. Smartphones and constant connectivity flood us with endless information and distractions, making it harder than ever to concentrate or be present. Burkeman doesn't demonize technology, but he shows how it often fuels our worst habits, interrupting our focus, stirring anxiety, and creating an illusion that we must always be on. The reader is invited to rethink their relationship with digital life, not by rejecting it entirely, but by setting boundaries that honor their attention and priorities. It's like tending a garden. We decide what to nurture and what to prune, knowing that our energy is precious and cannot be spread thinly across every shiny notification. Then comes a gentle but powerful lesson on the value of patience. In a world that glorifies speed and instant gratification, Burkeman reminds us that some of the most important things in life take time. relationships, mastery, healing, and personal growth. He encourages us to resist the temptation to rush through these processes and instead to savor the unfolding. This patience also applies to the acceptance of uncertainty. Life is unpredictable. Plans will change. Sometimes we lose things we love or face challenges we did not expect. Burkeman shares how the Stoic tradition offers comfort here. By focusing on what we can control, our thoughts and actions, and letting go of what we cannot. This helps build resilience and peace amidst life's inevitable ups and downs. Throughout this part of the story, there is a recurring theme of embracing imperfection. Rather than chasing an impossible ideal of perfect productivity or perfect living, the book invites us to be gentle with ourselves. It acknowledges that sometimes we will procrastinate, fail, or feel overwhelmed, and that's part of being human, Burkeman paints a picture of life as a balancing act, where we constantly negotiate between ambition and acceptance, action and rest, doing and being. He suggests that the art of living well is not about achieving perfect balance at every moment, but about continually returning to what matters most. In these reflections, the reader may find a new kind of freedom, the freedom to choose their commitments, the freedom to say no, and the freedom to live a life aligned with their values rather than with external expectations. And as this second part draws to a close, the story leaves us with a quiet invitation to be present in our limited weeks, to cultivate meaningful connections, and to live with intention, not urgency. So rest now with these gentle truths settling around you. When you're ready, we will continue into the final part, where we explore how to put these insights into practice and embrace the beautiful complexity of mortal life. As the final part of our journey begins, Burkeman turns our attention to what it means to truly embrace the reality of limited time, not as a source of despair, but as an opportunity for freedom and meaning. The story now deepens into the ways we can live well, despite knowing that there will always be more to do than we have time for. One of the most profound ideas shared is that the pressure to get everything done is a kind of illusion. Life's demands are endless, and trying to conquer them all only leads to frustration and exhaustion. Instead, the real art is in choosing what matters enough to spend your precious time on, and letting go of the rest without guilt. Burkeman encouraged the reader to stop treating time like a resource to hoard or optimize, and instead to see it as a context for living a place where meaning and relationships grow. He speaks to the importance of saying yes to the things that bring joy and purpose, and no to distractions and superficial busyness. There's a gentle but firm call to embrace the present moment, not as a stepping stone to the next task or achievement, but as the place where life actually happens. This means learning to be fully present, whether in work, play, rest, or connection with others. The book also explores how acceptance of our finitude, the fact that our time is limited, can shift our perspective on ambition. Instead of trying to do everything or leave a huge legacy, we begin to appreciate the beauty in small, everyday moments, in the kindness we show, and in the simple act of being alive. Burkeman weaves in lessons from philosophy, psychology, and personal stories that remind us how human life, with all its imperfection and uncertainty, is a precious gift. He reminds us that struggling with limits is part of the human condition, and that peace comes from embracing this rather than fighting it. The final reflections in the story invite the reader to cultivate patience with themselves and with life's unfolding. It's okay to be imperfect. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to rest. In fact, these are essential parts of living well. By the end of the journey, the reader may feel a quiet transformation. The frantic need to control every minute softens into a calm willingness to engage with life on its own terms. The urgency melts into presence. The noise of endless to-do lists fades, replaced by the clarity of what truly matters. Burkeman's gentle guidance leaves us with a powerful invitation to live deeply and intentionally within our 4,000 weeks, to savor the moments we have, and to build a life not defined by how much we do, but by how fully we live. And so, as the night draws near and the mind begins to rest, we close the book with a heart a little lighter, a spirit a little freer, and a sense of peace that comes from knowing that living well is possible, even in a world of limits. Sleep now, knowing that your time is a gift, and each moment is yours to cherish. Thank you for joining us on Mindful Reads, where timeless wisdom meets calm reflection. If this story helped you see your time in a new light, consider subscribing to stay connected with more gentle journeys through meaningful books. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss your next mindful moment. Until next time.